Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Travels in Tranquility. I'm Lauren.
I'm Devin.
And today we're bringing you our 15 favorite games for travel, and especially for cruise ship travel.
And we should say this is so far.
Yes. Yeah, if you've watched our cruise vlogs before, you know we love bringing games with us onto cruise ships to play in that little bit of downtime that you may get throughout. Or maybe you want to take, a dedicated hour and just play some games. To us, that's relaxing and it's a fun part of our vacation.
Yeah.
So we've divided them into two different categories. Games that take barely any space at all, both in your luggage and space that you need to play it. And then games that take maybe a little bit more space, both in your luggage and to play it.
Yeah.
So let's start in the not a lot of space category. Devin, what's one of the first games you've got?
First up is just a deck of cards. Pretty simple. You can pack. I mean, they're not hard to pack. They're not hard to find. They're cheap, and you can do hundreds and thousands of games with decks
literally,
of cards. Fun fact: you can go to guest services and ask for a deck of cards as well if you want one like that.
They don't always have them, but sometimes they do, or they might be in the library too.
Yeah.
So you could play slapjack, go fish, poker. Creepy. Canasta, hearts. There's so many different types of games.
Oh, so many things.
Yeah. It's a good versatile first one.
Pair this with a book of card games and you spend your fantastic vacation on board learning.
Or internet access too. Mm-hmm. Cut down on a book. If you just have an internet package already, you can look up a bunch of different games. Yeah. All right, my first one is Kitten. You saw us play this on Navigator of the Seas, and essentially it's really fun and it goes very quick, but essentially you have a communal pile of little kittens and you have cards that show you what structure you're supposed to build, how you're supposed to stack the kittens, and so it's kind of a race against the other player. So you flip a card over and you try to stack the kittens the fastest. If you do, you get the card and you play to 5 or 6 or whatever. And we had a ton of fun.
It was great.
Playing this in the, Star Lounge or whatever?
Star Lounge, yeah.
Super fun, and it doesn't take up a lot of space.
No, not at all.
What's your next one?
Next up is Monopoly Deal. So it's Monopoly, but faster and more efficient and...
funner, some might say.
Yeah. And
less, still some arguing, but less.
I mean, it's the same concept, just in a different format as board game Monopoly. But I mean, you can't pack a huge board game with you, and this just works.
Right. And so the goal of that is with your cards, you have the same things, the houses, you're trying to collect the houses and money. And there's different action cards you can play to steal houses or to make them pay you.
Yeah. And cards you don't use can be thrown into, they all have a cash value. So you can throw it into your bank. So if somebody steals all your money, they get it.
But it is a good travel one. We've played that one a ton. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My next one is Pairs, and there's a bunch of different versions of Pairs.
They're all weirdly, there's weird themed versions, which is fun.
It is fun. So we have pirate pairs. So each card is a different pirate. But my dad has, I think, fruit and trees.
Yeah,
so there's different ones that you can get, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But essentially, I don't know. It's kind of like just a regular card game. I don't really know how to describe it.
But you're essentially blackjack.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing cards. You're dealing cards to other people, and you can either hit and get another card, or quit, stay or something like that, and you take the lesser card. But you're trying to avoid getting a pair of cards because then you're stuck with them. You have to keep them.
Right.
And there's a point threshold. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up, but there's a point threshold that you get to.
Right. Because if you get stuck with a pair, if you gamble and get stuck with a pair, you take the point value of whatever it is, and it could be devastating, like a 10.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. What I like about Pairs is it plays really quickly, doesn't take up a lot of space, and you can play with different size groups, and it's still fun. So we've played this at 2-player, we've played it at like 6 or 7-player, and it was still pretty fun. And it's like called a classic pub game. So it's a nice game that you can play over drinks in the restaurant because it doesn't take up a ton of space. And it's fun. Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is Santa Cookie
It's a long title.
Santa Cookie Elf Candy Snowman. So this is a variation on, I think it's like Pizza, Taco, Cat, something. There's another game that like this, but
this is the Christmas version.
It's the Christmas version of it. So it plays essentially like a modified slapjack.
Yeah.
So
and you do need, for this one, you need at least 3 people.
At least 3. So you have these face cards that are all Santa Cookie, Elf, Candy, Snowman. And you have to go in order. It's handy on the back of the card. You have to go in order and say the name. And essentially, if you pull a card that is the thing that you named, everybody jumps in and has to slap it.
Right. And the last person who slaps it
gets it. But there's twists as well. Like if you flinch, you automatically, it doesn't matter what the card is, you get it.
Yeah. If you thought it was it. Yeah. That's happened so many times.
So many times.
Yeah.
It's amazing because it's a super fun concept. You can play it with groups of most sizes. And it really takes up no space at all.
Yeah, and it was just hilarious. We played this with my parents over the holidays, and everybody was just giggling and laughing and going like, oh, you know, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a really like interactive game, and it just made it a ton of fun. So if you're traveling with like a party, or if you are somebody who likes to make friends on your trips,
it'd be a super good icebreaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to like explain a huge rule book.
Exactly. It's pretty easy to follow along. So that one is a really good one. My next one is Uno. We have 3 different versions of Uno that we've taken on trips. So we have just the standard Uno Flip, which has become like our favorite.
It's a great variation of it.
Uno All Wild. Uno's pretty straightforward. You know, you've got a hand of cards that you're trying to get rid of. And then the person who gets rid of their cards the fastest wins. It's kind of fun having different variations of the game because it adds in a couple of different rules. We really like Flip because you can flip the deck. And so you'll go from like the regular deck to this kind of like, I don't know, bright,
it's like a neon
sort of version of the deck.
It's a completely different deck. It has it has new features, new good cards, new bad cards. It's great. It's super fun. So
we really enjoy that one. We found that Uno All Wild is a very quick game. So fast.
We played, was it 11 rounds?
Yeah.
In the time it would have taken us to maybe do one of Uno Flip.
Yeah. So
wild.
But wild. It is wild. But again, doesn't take up a lot of space, just kind of a classic. It's really easy to play because you just know how to play. It's like one of those games where you learn it once and you know how to play, you know? Yeah. It's like Go Fish.
You can carry it around in your pocket or your bag or whatever, and it's it can be, like I think you said with the other game, it can be used for huge groups or just a couple of people.
Yeah, that is really nice too. Yeah, if you're in a big party or you like to make friends. What's your next one?
My next one is a game called Quicks. This one is like a...
Kind of like
it's like a Yahtzee. Yeah. So you have these fun cards that show different denominations of numbers and different colors and all that stuff, and you roll your dice. And based on some quick maths as you roll these, you tally up your numbers to try to get as many in each row crossed off as possible.
Right. To earn points.
Right, and the fun thing about it is it's a thinker. It's one of those games.
It definitely can be. Yeah, there's some strategy.
If you're the first person to check the lockbox on a row, it locks everyone in the game out from that row. So you could, if you score really well on a row and then get the opportunity to lock that row, you cut a whole bunch of points away from the rest of the group. So you can play really tactically to maximize your points. And again, it really, the only space it takes up are the 2 cards and then just a little bit of space to roll these dice.
Yeah, that's really nice. It is a fun one. It is a bit more strategy, like thinking, at least to us. I don't know.
On the box, so Lauren got these amazing boxes for all of our games, but on the box it comes in this cool like cardboard flip thing with a magnet latch. But on the front of it, I'm pretty sure it says it's like Mensa approved.
Yeah, it's a Mensa game. Yeah, it is a good one. Okay, my last in this category of not a lot of space game are just some, and it's kind of not like a game, but it's a game, are these quiz books. You saw us do these in the airport when we were waiting for a really long time in Miami after our Disney cruise. But you can definitely use them anywhere. They're just books. Usually we only take one per trip. This is the one that we're working through right now, and I just found it on Amazon. It's called What Kind of Quiz Book Are You? And they're just, especially if you're our age and you remember growing up with, I mean, the BuzzFeed quizzes now, but also there were all of those websites where you could just go and find out which Harry Potter character you are.
Right, yeah.
You know, what's your favorite pizza topping? Like,
if you're old enough to have played around with MySpace at all, there were things you could embed on your homepage that was just like quiz a day, and every time someone would visit your homepage or your space, they could take a quiz that you've embedded on your channel.
Yeah, I used to do those all the time. My friends and I, whenever we had sleepovers or anything like that, we would spend tons of time on the computer, or we were in the computer lab at school, in elementary school, we'd go to those websites and take like all these quizzes. And then, you would post your results on your MySpace page.
Right. There's a reason these are so popular.
They're fun.
They're quick and they're fun.
They're
and
cheesy.
Of course, they're silly, and some are nonsensical, like what kind of pizza are you? And stuff like that.
But it's fun. Yeah, this one is pick some weird food combos, and we'll tell you if you are an introvert or an extrovert.
Right.
It's so silly.
It doesn't make any sense, but they're fun.
Which goldfish crackers match your personality? Like, it's stuff you didn't need to know, but stuff now you need to know. I need to know what goldfish crackers are my personality.
Yeah, of course. Am I going to be a pretzel or flips? Or
who am I?
Maybe a sweet one.
Yeah. So these are just a ton of fun, and it's fun to like swap the book back and forth, and you ask the questions of the other person. This is another version. It's just the BuzzFeed Ultimate Book of Quizzes. And again, there's just tons of different quizzes. Which Disney couple are you and your significant other? Only people who've seen Home Alone like 1,000,000 times can ace this quiz. So they're just completely random.
There's random, yeah.
Yeah, but they're so much fun. And, you know, if you just have a pen or a pencil, or even if you don't and you just like keep track, because there's usually like 5 to 10 questions. Yeah. You can keep track of that in your head.
Right. And we have
tons of fun.
We have these. We have some puzzle books. We have there's a big movie quiz one that I'd like to break into at some point.
Yeah.
Just there's so much variation in these things,
and they're fun. And again, you can even play them by yourself. You know, you don't need other people, or you can again use it as an icebreaker if you're trying to make friends, or you're going to those social events and you're trying to mingle with other people.
Yeah.
These are good icebreakers for that. What's your last in this category of not a lot of space?
P is for pizza.
P is for pizza.
So this one can take up some space.
It's definitely a bridge one.
Yeah,
maybe.
right. So the object of P is for pizza is you get these pizza cards, and they all have categories on them. And then based off the placement of the cards, you would have to name a thing that is in this category based off of the letter.
You'll see in the video, but it's set up kind of like that.
Right. And then so if you can say that faster than your opponent, you get the card and you build a pizza pyramid or a slice of pizza. Yeah. And as you progress farther into the game, like you get locked out of the green ones, and then you can only use the yellow and the red. And then for the top ones, you can only use the red. Super simple conceptually. It's something that you can jump right into with just a bunch of people, and you just need a table.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good one. And another silly one, kind of like Santa Cookie, you're just trying to yell out something fast, and sometimes you're saying something nonsensical, and you're like, and the other person's looking at you like, what do you mean apple for a hat? Like that doesn't make any sense. So it's just kind of fun. Yeah, it's a good game. Okay, for the next chunk of games, we're talking about games that take up a bit more space.
And Ptolemy's going to introduce them.
Ptolemy's going to introduce them. She's being so clingy right now.
Her favorite game that takes up a lot of space is just her on the table and us paying attention to her.
Yeah, is just her touching the Jenga block tower and causing it to crash, or stealing the pieces from different games. That's her favorite. Hold on. Yeah, you're so sweet. Okay. So to start, I'm going to start with Bananagrams. So usually they come in a little banana shape. Ours have been repackaged because I'm obsessed with repackaging. But essentially it's like Scrabble, but like a fast-paced Scrabble. Everybody gets a set of letter tiles, and then you race against each other to make the biggest...
It's like a personal Scrabble board.
Scrabble board, or word search board, or crossword board, whatever you want to call it, of words. And it does take up a bit more space because you each need space to build your little puzzle, but it can still be kind of small because you're only doing like 20 letters or something like that.
If you're like this nerd and know every word.
Yeah, you're making like bigger words or something. It can take up more space.
Yeah.
I will say I saw a video on TikTok of people did categories that their words had to fit into, and I think that's a fun alt for the game. So you could say they all have to be foods, or they all have to be professions, or something like that. And I think that can add in a fun layer to your game.
Totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Or they all have to be, celebrities or something. So that's Bananagrams.
My first is a game called Circle the Wagons. It's a pocket book.
Yeah, which is so funny.
It's a pocket game.
That we're saying it's in the category of taking up a lot of space when it's so teeny tiny.
It's just so little, right?
It's a little wallet.
Every card is used in every game, and you have to make this huge board with it. And then each of us have to have our own space for our own personal scoreboard. I picked this up at the recommendation of one of our local board game sellers. Because it was developed locally here in Reno, Nevada. It's a super fun game. It's like Old West themed, and you have 3 scorecards that everybody can pull scores off of by the end of the game in the middle, and circling those are just a bunch of colored pieces that you can see in the video that we're going to have up while we're playing this. And you pull based on what your needs are to match the colors up together or to match the symbols up together. And that is how you make your own little town.
Yeah.
Very super simple conceptually, but lots of space.
Yeah, definitely. When we played it on Navigator, we did have to push 2 kind of small bar tables together to make it fit. But I think if you're maybe in like 270 or at like a restaurant and you have like a slightly bigger table, you'd probably be okay.
It'd be fine.
Yeah. All right, my next one that takes up a bit more space, but it is also worth it because it is adorable, is a game called Spots. In Spots, you are collecting little doggies and you are matching dice that you roll to the spots, to the like little spots on your dog cards. It is so cute. I love the art.
It's such a weird little game.
It's cute, but it's so simple. Like you're basically just rolling dice and trying to match those dice to your dog cards, and then you collect 6 dog cards to win. It's super cute, and you have different actions and stuff that you can take. It does take up a little bit more space because you have to have room for the action cards, your 6 dog cards, to be able to roll dice, that kind of thing. But it's worth it, and it is so cute. It's adorable. I think you could easily play this on a cruise ship, though. Right,
and games go quick despite the fact that it needs a little bit more space. So it's not like there's a huge time commitment.
No, it's just adorable. All right, Devin, what's your next one?
Next up is also something I consider slightly adorable. Gloom.
In a different way, though.
So Gloom is a fascinating little game that Lauren got me, I think, in like...
When an Easter basket or something?
Yeah.
Or for Valentine's Day, because that would be really funny as a Valentine's Day gift.
So the object of Gloom is to make the family that you've pulled as miserable as possible, and then to kill them while they're as miserable as possible. And you get points based on how miserable they were when they died.
Yeah.
So you pick, there's, I think, 4 or 5 different families of different colors. There's 5 cards each. I missed one in there. But you pick your color, and you've got your family, and then you've noticed that the cards are see-through because every card is see-through, and you can overlay the see-through cards on your people to give them various effects and various misfortunes. And then your opponent, you can also mess with your opponent's deck.
and play plus cards.
By making them happy, which doesn't get you to your goal because you can't kill them when they're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, so a negative score wins in Gloom. So yeah, you're trying to make them miserable by giving them the attachments that are worth negative points.
Right.
But yeah, your opponent can mess with you by putting pluses on top of them. And it's funny because each card has like a description of what happens, right? So like the negative ones might say like was
there's like struck by lightning.
Yes, something like that.
Plagued by pneumonia, and there's a bunch of really funny ones too. They play with words. It's very
but
evocative.
the happy ones have the same thing, like was cheered by a balloon.
Right.
And it's really silly and it's fun to like read those aloud as you play them.
Yeah.
And then yes, you kill your characters, or you can even kill your opponent's characters if they have pluses. And those are also have little descriptions and are funny.
Right. Yeah. So it's honestly, I don't know why it sat on our shelf for as long as it did without us playing it, because we played it on Navigator.
We just have so many games though. I think that's the problem.
We only played it one time and then put it on the shelf, and then we played it for a second time on Navigator, and I had probably the funnest time with a game.
It's fun.
With like a card game that I've had in a really long time.
It's really cute. A little morbid. Probably.
Oh, yes. But I mean, like, it's a winky.
But in a fun way. Yeah. Maybe not for children, but it's fun.
So much fun. I love this game. Yeah. I love it so much.
It's really cute.
And it's barely bigger than a deck of cards.
Yes.
But as you play it, stuff gets big because you have discard piles and a draw pile and your family. And
yeah, I think that's the biggest part, is that you each have a set of 5 family cards that you need to have in front of you. And then, yes, the discard and the draw pile. And they are slippery. I think that's also a factor because they're, plastic and they're made to be see-through, so you can see the cards underneath it. They are slippery, and so you need to have like a good flat surface where things won't go like sliding off.
Yeah.
Like if you were on a choppy sea day, it might not be the best game for that, but it's fun.
Gloom, try it. It's one of our favorite games. Well, it's one of my favorite games.
I think it would be another good icebreaker game too.
Right.
Because it would be fun, and it's a fun like bar game. I could see like having a beer or a drink or something and playing Gloom. Like I think that would be really funny.
Yeah, because it's conceptually very simple as well. You don't have to know a massive rule book to figure it out.
All right, in my last game, we're on game number 14. We haven't been keeping track and saying the numbers, but you get the idea. 14 is Hunt-A-Killer, and in particular, these single-play Hunt-A-Killer games that you can get from Target. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them now. We have, I think, 2 that we haven't played yet.
We've played all of them except for these 2.
Yes. So there's R.I.P. at the Rodeo and Homicide at the Heist. We love these games. So if you're unfamiliar, Hunt-A-Killer is actually a subscription that you can do, and each month they'll give you another episode of kind of a bigger mystery or a murder that you're trying to solve. You can also get the completed sets. Once all 6 are done, you can buy those on their website. They are over $100 each.
They're very expensive.
Yeah. These are nice because they can be found at Target, so it's really easy, and they're usually about $20. And it's just one game all contained in this. We have taken these before on a cruise.
We did one that was cruise themed on the Disney Dream.
Yeah. And we just played it in our room, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But I could see you playing it at like 270 or any of the other bits. But essentially you get, I'll show you the back because it shows you some stuff. You're introduced to a mystery or a murder that has happened that you're trying to solve, and you're given a ton of different pieces of evidence to sort through. They can be like transcripts of interviews. They can be little pieces that were found. Newspaper clippings, menus, postcards, Post-it notes. Some of them involve like code breaking or puzzles that you have to solve. It's kind of, we've run the gamut, or little hidden compartments or something like that. They're just a lot of fun. They probably take about an hour to play. And we just have a really good time playing them and kind of making up the story to each other, like, oh, this could have happened, or oh my God, it's totally this guy.
We end up usually like overinflating or making more complex mysteries than they put out.
Yeah.
But like our core is the same. Of what we just blew it way out of proportion.
Yeah,
and
but it's a lot of fun. Even if you don't win, it's a lot of fun. I will say some of them do require internet access for you to be able to get clues or get help or check on things or do code breaking stuff. So, check the box before you pick one. Or if you have...
side as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this one says requires internet gameplay. But not all of them do. We've played games that don't. So, you just check the box before you purchase it or... know if I have the internet package on this cruise, so I'm gonna make sure I take this one. So, but they're fun. They're a lot of fun. We have a good time. What's your last one? Number 15.
Number 15
travel games
is
Corkle.
This is just a fun little game. It's like Scrabble with shapes.
Yeah, another kind of old school game.
Yeah. So you get these fun little tiles with shapes and colors and all that stuff. And your goal is to make as big of chains or Corkles as possible. And like you see in the video that we have of us playing it, that's basically it. You match colors and shapes and all that fun stuff. The thing is, as you can see in the video that we've got, the board can get very big very quickly. And so you are going to need probably more space than any other game.
It's probably the most space. We debated whether or not to include this one. Devin really wanted to. Not to say that I didn't want to, but it does take probably the most space. And so out of all of the games, this is the one where, you need a good sized table. Or maybe you're playing on your bed in your cabin room. Yeah. That could be a good place for it.
The thing is, the thing that's so hard to kind of quantify with Quirkle is that you don't know where the space is going to be needed. Yeah. Because yesterday we were playing this on our kitchen table, and the board grew into Lauren's.
Yeah, it grew like this way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you just need a lot of space. So just beforehand, just know going into it, you're going to need a lot of space.
Yeah, but it's still a really fun game. And I do think it still works as a travel game because the bag itself, this is all you need. It's just the bag of the tiles. Yeah. There are card versions of this game. We've never played those, so I don't know if that takes more or less space or if it's a good alternative, but it's something you can look into if the game sounds interesting. Or maybe this is a good game that you just want to get for home because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We like it a lot. We've played it a ton. So it's a good game. Yeah. So those are our top 15 favorite games to take on trips with us, especially cruise ships. Let us know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite games, or if you've played any of these and what you think of them, if you're as obsessed with Gloom as Devin is. I'll try to make an Amazon storefront with all of the games in our description box if you want to check them out or look into them, whether for land or sea. We love board games. So
yeah, board games are great.
You play them. My whole closet is full of board games. That's a big part of what we like to do. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and here's to more board games on cruises in the future.
Yeah, just trips in general.
For sure. Yeah, stay tuned to our channel. We've got lots of great vacations planned that we're so pumped about.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye, you guys. Catch you on the next adventure.